Princess Leonor in Denmark, royal fans react to arrival from Spain airplane. Princess Leonor steps off the plane. The world expects elegance. The world expects composure. But no one expected what happened next. Because sometimes, the most anticipated moments are not the grand gestures inside a palace, they're the raw reactions of ordinary people watching royalty in real time. And as Spain's future queen arrived in Denmark, the reaction spoke louder than any official speech ever could. The cameras clicked. The cheers rose. And in that single moment, the fairy tale of Spain and Denmark collided in front of our eyes. But behind the glamour, the question lingers, is this just another royal appearance, or the beginning of a story that could reshape the future of Europe's monarchies? Let us step into that moment together. From Madrid to Copenhagen, the journey was not just geographical, it was symbolic. Princess Leonor carried with her the weight of history, centuries of tradition, and the expectations of millions. And as she stepped onto Danish soil, her presence was more than ceremonial, it was personal. Royal fans who had followed her growth from a shy teenager to a poised young woman now witnessed the next chapter unfold, not through newspapers or official portraits, but before their very eyes. The arrival was meticulous. Every detail carefully orchestrated. The aircraft itself symbolized Spain's pride. The Spanish flag shimmered as the royal entourage descended. Yet the most striking moment was not in the perfection of the setting, but in the spontaneity of human connection. Children waved Spanish and Danish flags side by side. Some shouted her name, not as a distant figure, but as if she were one of their own. And Leonor's reaction? A smile, gentle, genuine, and undeniably disarming. For those who have questioned whether royal traditions can survive in modern Europe, that single smile gave the answer. Royalty, at its core, is not about crowns or palaces, it is about connection. But let's not mistake simplicity for ease. This was not merely a routine engagement. Royal insiders knew the stakes. The Spanish monarchy has been tested in recent years. Questions about its future, its relevance, and its unity have shaken its very foundations. For Leonor, every public step is scrutinized, every gesture interpreted. And in Denmark, a nation with its own deeply respected royal family, the comparisons would be inevitable. Would she measure up to the charm of Crown Princess Mary? Would she resonate with the Danish people as naturally as their own royals do? Or would she seem like an outsider, a foreign princess temporarily stepping into their world? The answer unfolded in real time. As she greeted the crowd, something remarkable happened. The Danish people did not see her as a stranger, they saw her as family. Some even shouted in Spanish, their voices mixing with Danish cheers, a symbol of how royal stories transcend borders. Yet behind the cheers, another narrative brewed quietly. Why Denmark, why now? Was this merely a diplomatic courtesy, or was it the subtle preparation for something far more personal? After all, whispers of Leonor's connection to Prince Christian have circled Europe's royal watchers for years. Could this arrival be seen not only as official duty, but as a glimpse into a more intimate storyline? Fans speculated openly. Some waved banners pairing Leonor's name with Christian's. Others asked whether this was the beginning of a royal alliance that could capture the imagination of Europe, much like royal unions of centuries past. And while the palace remained silent on speculation, the energy in the crowd suggested otherwise. But the story of Leonor's arrival cannot be reduced to romance alone. It is about identity, heritage, and the burden of representation. As Spain's future monarch, she embodies the resilience of her nation. Her presence in Denmark was a reminder that monarchy, though ancient in origin, still plays a vital role in diplomacy, culture, and unity. Consider the symbolism. Spain and Denmark, two monarchies with shared histories of resilience and adaptation, standing side by side in a moment that blended formality with warmth. The formal speeches honored tradition. The casual interactions, Leonor laughing with children, exchanging a glance with Danish royals, honored humanity. And that balance is where her strength lies. Fans on social media erupted. Videos of her arrival spread instantly. Comments flooded in. She's so natural, wrote one. Spain must be proud, said another. Danish voices echoed with admiration. She is one of us, they claimed. The reaction was not orchestrated, it was authentic. And in an age where authenticity is the highest currency, Leonor's ability to inspire it is her greatest power. But let's pause here. Because admiration alone does not secure the throne. Every royal must face challenges, and every appearance carries risk. Had Leonor appeared distant, distracted, or overly scripted, the narrative would have shifted. Critics would have called her unprepared, detached, or overshadowed. Instead, she leaned into vulnerability. She showed warmth. And in doing so, she transformed potential doubt into undeniable support. Yet even as fans celebrated, questions remained unanswered. Was this visit a one-time spectacle, or the beginning of a deeper partnership between Spain and Denmark's royal families? Could Leonor's presence hint at future collaborations, cultural exchanges, or even the subtle weaving of personal bonds? The curiosity lingered, fueling endless debate. History teaches us that small moments often lead to monumental change. Think of Queen Victoria's alliances across Europe, or Queen Sophia's journey from Greece to Spain. What began as visits, meetings, or introductions became defining chapters in royal history. Could Leonor's arrival in Denmark one day be remembered in the same way? As the day unfolded, official ceremonies blended with candid encounters. Behind palace walls, discussions between royals remained private, but outside, the public narrative grew louder. News outlets across Europe highlighted the visit. Headlines spoke of unity, charm, and speculation. But beyond the headlines, what mattered most were the people, the royal fans whose reactions transformed a formal arrival into a heartfelt welcome. One woman in the crowd, tears in her eyes, told reporters, she represents hope for the future. She carries herself with grace, but you can see she is human too. That's why we love her. That statement captured the essence of Leonor's journey. She is not worshipped from afar, she is embraced as one of us. And so, as evening fell and official events concluded, the legacy of the day remained etched in memory. Spain's future queen had arrived in Denmark, but more than that, she had arrived in the hearts of its people. Her story, of course, does not end here. Each royal appearance builds upon the last. Each reaction fuels the next. The curiosity loops continue. Will she return to Denmark soon? Will collaborations between the two monarchies grow stronger? Will whispers of royal romance evolve into undeniable reality? For now, one truth stands firm. Princess Leonor's arrival was not just about ceremony, it was about connection. And connection is what will carry her into the future, not only as Spain's monarch, but as a symbol of a generation redefining royalty. This is why the world continues to watch. Not because of tradition alone. Not because of speculation alone. But because in her story, we see reflections of our own, the longing to be loved, the burden of expectation, the hope of belonging, and the courage to step into the unknown with grace. So remember this moment. Remember the cheers, the flags, the smiles, and the questions. Because years from now, when the history of Europe's monarchy is retold, this day, this arrival, may well be seen not as a fleeting spectacle, but as the spark that lit a new chapter. And for the royal fans who witnessed it firsthand, their voices will always echo the truth. They were not just watching a princess arrive, they were watching history unfold.